realise that we were wishing for things. It's like that old thing, be careful what you wish for because you might just get it. We were getting everything. And half of it was nonsense. And so it became a natural progression to start doing it for other people. And then we got very excited. We had an idea that we would take this skill, this positive visualization, and go and share it with the world. And it was like, oh, that's a good idea. And everyone was like, oh, that's a really good idea. And originally, when we came up with this, we were going to call ourselves, What's Your Problem? And we were going to go out onto the street and stop people and say, oi, what's your problem? And we were going to solve it. And then I remember one night, a friend of mine very anxiously came in. It was the night before we were going out to do this. And it was a real buzzy, exciting thing to do. And we were there, and he came in and said, oh, you can't call yourself, what's your problem? People are going to get pissed with that and think that it's really kind of quite an aggressive, full-on thing to do. So we kind of brainstormed, and we came up with a slightly less silly, less aggressive name, which is the Kindness Offensive. And I thought I'd seen online, we had an idea that this was going to be something where we would kind of go and do the opposite to what negative army people were doing. And we were, because we always thought that it was a bit of a shame. The army goes out and they destroy stuff, and they kind of diminish the capacity to feed people and educate people and stuff. So we thought, okay, we're going to be an offensive, and we're going to be slightly like the flip side to the army. So we took Uncle Sam, and I actually thought this logo existed. I went looking for it online. I saw it very clearly in my head, but it didn't exist. So we thought, okay, wicked. Here's a poster that's been used to recruit people into the army that's responsible for tens of thousands of people having miserable experiences and dying and everything else. So we dressed him up as Willy Wonka, and we called him Captain Kindness. And we printed that out at home. My friend did it on Photoshop, and we stuck these things on our hats. We thought, okay, we'll use them so people know that we're jokers and we're not out to get you to give us money or join our group or anything. We just, what's your problem? We want to help you out. So we did all this the night before, and we did it all on the home printer with a laminator, and all these badges are stuck on us with sticky tape and kind of paper clips and stuff like that. And the morning came, and we got dressed up like this for the first time, and it's still, trust me, I know I look like an idiot, right? So you can imagine on day one, having never done it before, that we were all sitting there in this stuff going, are we really going to do this? Yeah, for real, we're going to go out into a public place and speak to strangers about this. And it was like, yeah, we are. I don't know if I mentioned it, but at that point we developed a name for what we were doing, because we were doing it on the phone. We were phone whisperers, and we kind of got it. We were big Cesar Millan fans. The dog whisperer, the guy who can tame your dog in 10 seconds. And we were an awesome guy. And we thought, yeah, okay, well, there's the ghost whisperer and all the rest of it, so we'll be phone whisperers. And there was a whole kind of technique that with different rules to it. Like, one of the rules of phone whispering is that you can never tell a lie, because that goes against all the grains of all the different spiritual teachings we were trying to realize in our own way. So anyway, we were sitting there, and we marched out the house, marched out onto a local park, and we started to stop people. We set up a little dressing table kind of thing with a cloth on it, and we said, hi, my name's David, what can we do to make your life better? And a lot of people thought we were mad, obviously, but 17 people on that day. We had a little form that we filled out, and you put your name and your kind of email address and the thing that you wanted from us. And we didn't tell people it was just about objects. It was whatever. Well, what do you want? And it's quite, one of the things I realized was no one really wanted a hug, or no one really wanted kind of anything kind of non-physical. People were like, oh, what? You're going to do anything for me, you know what I want some stuff. Exactly like we had been when we realized that we could do anything with a phone, like we wanted stuff. So people wanted stuff, and one lady wanted a blender to finish her kitchen off. Another girl, which was kind of cute, she asked for a box of chocolates to give to her grandmother. There was a tourist couple who were visiting London who always wanted to see a musical but couldn't afford it because they're really expensive. And we got 17 requests on that day. The best one was a guy called Chris who asked us to organise a birthday party for his daughter who was turning 11. She was called Lana. And so we went home and we thought, okay, let's have a go at this list of requests. Let's see if we can actually be the genie. Let's see if this only works for us, or if it works for anybody that we want to do it for. So we started phoning up companies, and I told them what I just told you. You know, we printed up this thing, and we walked out the door. We want to see, you know, if we can make connections and make the world a better. And the weirdest thing happened. They all said yes, 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 yes. And again, the stuff started piling into the house. The woman got her blender. Another woman got a cooker. Well, one guy wanted his house replastered, and the plasterer said, yes, he'll do that. And the thing that really kind of elevated the whole situation and took it to another level was when we spoke to the guys at the Moscow State Circus. And we said to them, look, we would like to do an amazing birthday party for this 11-year-old girl and all of her friends. And they said, yeah, you can do that, but not only are we going to give you ringside seats, but we really love the opportunity to do something cool here. We're actually going to let you come in earlier in the day and train with the clowns and the acrobats and everything else. And we were like, oh, we exceeded our own expectations. And something really weird happened to me at that moment. Suddenly I totally revalued everything in my life, and I suddenly realized that that was probably the best thing I'd ever done, and it was for someone I had not met but for 5 minutes. He was a complete stranger, and I remember trembling when I went to call this guy, because I was like, this is next level weird madness, right? And how's he gonna respond? And I found out subsequently that he thought it was the strangest thing that ever happened to him, and I phoned him up and I said, yeah, we've done it, mate. We've got your daughter the best birthday party she could ever imagine. And he went, and it was awesome, and apparently he couldn't sleep the night before. And it was weird, because suddenly I realized that there was a tremendous value that I had never really encountered before in making other people happy, and making other people smile, and sharing stuff. And suddenly I stopped seeing the blender as being worth 150 pounds, and suddenly I saw it as being worth that lady's smile. And suddenly all these objects, the price tag started to evaporate on them, and they started to be worth something very different to me and in the whole group. And suddenly we didn't really want any more stuff for ourselves. We wanted to make other people as happy as possible, and we wanted to share the feeling that we were getting from doing this for other people, and share that as much as possible, both by giving stuff to people and by letting people participate in the giving as well. And the gloves are off at that point in time. One of the things that we got asked on the hill when we were on the hill that day was a boy wanted a red electric guitar to start a rock band, which is an awesome thing to ask for. And through all the calls we made, we actually ended up with 2 red electric guitars. So we gave the kid, he's called Ollie, and when we met him, he had Ollie for World Peace written on his t-shirt, which I still remember to this day. It was awesome. But we had a second one, and we promised the company, and the company who'd given it to us, there was a guy there called Lee Hurst, but not the Lee Hurst, that's how I remember his name. And we said to him, this was for a young teenage boy who wants to start a rock band. And so we'd given one away, so we took out an advert on a website called Gumtree, and again we explained our story, and the end of it was, we have a red electric guitar specifically for a young boy, teenage boy who wants to start a rock band. And we got a deluge of stuff in, and we located this kid called Lucas. I don't really feel comfortable talking too much about his story and why his mum nominated him for this thing, but she said, you know, trust me, he deserved this guitar. So we gave it to him, but the emails kept on coming because Gumtree adverts stay up forever? I don't know, right? But one of the ones we got that really kind of sunk into me was an email from a refugee who was fresh in the country. And he was a musician, and he made his living busking and doing stuff like that. And obviously, having no instrument meant he was pretty messed up right now. He didn't even have the means to express himself or earn any money. And so we entered into a dialogue with him, and I wrote back to him and I said, listen mate, the guitar's gone, but forget about that. What else can we do for you? And he sent me back this email that I still find it quite emotional to talk about. He sent me back this email, and he detailed that he couldn't eat, that he had friends and family who needed diapers for their kids, and this is like a first world country, and we've got people living in London who don't have diapers for their children and food for their families. So I said to him, well, how do you cope, man? What do you do? And he gave me a list of places that he goes to get food from and stuff like that. So we said, okay, we can do something about this. We can make a difference on this one. So we started calling up every company that makes any kind of food you can imagine. And we ended up on the phone with a company called General Mills, and I didn't know who they were, and probably most of you don't, but if I tell you that they're Green Giant, Haagen-Dazs, Old El Paso, like most of the food you'll find is General Mills one way or another. And we spoke to the guy in charge of General Mills, a guy called Peter O'Reilly, and a conversation with him, again, I can't take credit for this one. Rob is in many ways the leader of the pack